Welcome everyone to another episode of MedlysisTalks. I am Mansi Bhatia, and with me today is my co-host Kiwi.
Hey everyone, we have a very special guest joining us today, someone whose incredible career spans across continents, medical disciplines, and leadership positions. He's a distinguished medical doctor with over 20 years of global experience, holding an MD from Cairo University, an MBA from Bradford University, and an advanced program in genetics and genomics from Stanford School of Medicine.
He is also the Vice President and Head of Medical Affairs America at Bayer Radiology. Before that, he held several key roles at Bayer, including Executive Medical Director for Cardiovascular and Communication and Global Medical Director for Respiratory. Dr. Wagdy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mansi and Kiwi, and thank you for the hosting me in your podcast. So thank you.
We're so glad to have you here today. Your career is truly impressive, spanning both clinical practice and pharmaceutical industry. Let's dive right in.
Dr. Wagdi, seeing as your career spans over 2 decades with leadership roles across different continents, what inspired you to transition from clinical medicine to medical affairs and pharmaceutical leadership?
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for inviting me again. And I have been when you say 2 decades, get me like too many years of age. I'm not that old, but it's a lot. I started my career very early after my medical school in Egypt. Um, I started immediately with the medical affairs at Bayer 22 years ago. And immediately after I finished my medical school, I also started my psychiatry residency. Then at that time, it was really interesting that the company reached out to me, and then there was no clear understanding 22 years ago what is medical affairs and the companies are doing, and I went as to explore what that means and how this will benefit patients as well, not only business but also patients. So I was thinking, let me try. And at that time, when you are young, you're just a graduate, you are trying things and you see like, is this fit for you or not fit for you? So since then, I joined Bayer and established medical affairs department in Egypt. And I liked it, and I felt like I'm also providing a lot of value for patients. And same like if I'm a physician, treating the patients directly, and also from developing medications, from medical communication, from medical education to the medical community, that also helps patients a lot. And that what I found like really inspiring. And since then, the journey took me Bayer 22 years all over across the world, and I didn't really regret it or at any moment felt like I'm not providing enough value to patients. Same like if I am treating the patients directly.
I think it was right time, right place, right time.
Yes, exactly. You're right.
It all like worked
Just,
out.
just be open when at I mean in your generation and in the generation that they are just to graduate, be open for trying things. You may not know what you are stepping into, but there is always a way to try it. And then if you didn't feel fit into this place, you move, because at that age and at that time you have more flexibility on your decisions.
I agree. I think it's always like we think like this is our plan and we need to stick to it. But if things come our way, we should be flexible, as you said, 100%.
And I really like that perspective because I feel like people get stuck in that mindset that I need to know from a certain age what I need to be doing, right? But I think in that sense, your story is really inspiring because you have had such a diverse career. Now, taking into consideration that you've had a very diverse career, not only within medicine, but also the fact that you're an MD who holds an MBA, I'm wondering whether having both an MD and an MBA provide any unique advantages in your field.
Definitely. I mean, when you are in the industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, medical affairs is the cornerstone between clinical development and commercial. So simply in any pharma, you have clinical development making the developing molecules, developing new medication, and you have the commercial team who are selling the product, marketing the product. Medical affairs always is the link between both and translating what is really developed into more also scientific communication, and helps the commercial to explain in a fair balanced way the scientific information and the value of the product. Having said that, when you are sitting in a meeting with the commercial, you need also to understand what that means. What are the business talk? I mean, sometimes you have people saying, okay, this will reach to the net present value in this stage. This, we will break even in this area. We will. You need, even if you are an MD or like a science person sitting in the room, you don't want to be only seeing it from a scientific point of view only, but also you need to understand the language and to join the team and to understand how this science and how to the medical education can collaborate with the business. So MBA helped me a lot to have a meaningful discussions with my different stakeholders, and also have a different position, and I can convince them, and I can also share decisions with them based on my background as a business leader as well. So that helped a lot to get the business acumen into the mindset of a scientific person. And I would encourage anyone, if you are a dedicated person for treating patients, maybe MBA will not be the best education you need. You may need to learn more in other aspects. But if you are in the industry, in pharmaceutical industry, MBA and the business acumen is needed, because to have more impact in your discussions with your stakeholders in pharma.
That's actually so interesting because I just think I've never looked at that perspective. Just because I always think like MD and then get into the pharma world. Like I've seen a lot of people do that without an MBA, and I think why would we need an MBA? But it makes so much sense because how you're going to understand both parties, because you're communicating not just with people with science background, but you're also communicating with people with a lot of
Definitely.
background. So I'm excited seeing how like this talk is gonna change its like route, because the next question is regarding the future of medicine. And here at Medlysis, we are very passionate about all things medicine related. And nowadays, as you may know, a very hot topic is AI and its role in medicine and healthcare. In fact, we have a panel discussion on AI in healthcare with a few of our team members. So, in which we have gathered different students from different educational backgrounds to talk about their opinions on the extent to which AI should be involved in healthcare. So, stay tuned for that. But now, coming back to the question, the pharmaceutical industry is increasingly integrating digital platforms and AI in drug development and even medical affairs. We want to know your opinion on this, and how do you see this trend evolving in the coming decade?
The AI is really it is inevitable. I mean, we cannot just ignore the presence of AI, and some people have a lot of concerns of like, will AI take our jobs? Will AI change the industry? This is completely understandable that people are afraid from AI at a certain point. And same like when we started with the internet, and everything moved digital, then the printing books and the printing a newspaper would say like, are we continue in the business? Will we be able to continue? Everything now moved digital. So we cannot just ignore the presence or the importance of AI, but we need to be careful how to use the AI and how to use the to be more compliant with what AI produce for us. AI in pharma has a lot of applications in a lot of aspects. So, starting from clinical development, you now have the AI that can analyze the development protocols and can decide on the can help you in writing protocols, help you in writing informed consents, and help you even in translation and patient language summaries. These are things that nowadays it would be fast and accurate to do it by AI and will save a lot of time and effort. That's in that area. Also, in the medical communication, now everybody has like some pain in their shoulders. They go to the chat GPT, say like chat GPT, I have pain in my shoulder, what that could be. And then first thing like, okay, you have heart attack. So it's also risky to, so you need as industry, as a pharma industry, as a medical community, to make sure that people are getting the right answers from AI. And the AI always related to the training data sets. So if you are trained, have a proper training data sets, you get more accurate answers. So the community and the pharma need also to help in training data sets for this platform and not ignore that they are exist, because people will go and do this anyway, like it or not. Also, one of my in my role in radiology is the fastest growing sector in AI, because everything in radiology is technology, and there is a lot of scanners. Scanners will scan the patients. The data will go to the imaging screens. So there is a lot of technology in this area, different than you are treating a patient with pills or with injection. It's different in radiology because there is a lot of aspects in AI. We have. I also just disclaimer that I'm not representing my company position, but this is my personal opinion. So the AI in radiology will evolve, and actually evolving very fast. You may not need too many radiology readers. You can have help from AI platforms to read scans for you, and the accuracy of reading scans, maybe it's also related to the training data sets, which is growing fast, and the accuracy of the machine learning increasing all the time. So in the future, what I can envision, the AI will be the reviewer of the scans with the radiologist to get best outcome and best diagnosis. We have currently the normal practice for any scans, MRI or CT. You have two readers. Nowadays, there are some centers that replaced one reader with an AI. So you can see like how this is evolving very fast. So there is a lot of applications, a lot of things that AI can do for the industry and for the medical community, including medical communication and medical assistance for the radiologists. But we need to make sure that we are training the tool well. We are not completely hands off. We are not yet there. There is a lot of promises which I saw in my career of what AI can do and what AI can, and but then the reality is that AI is not yet there. So we should not be rush into using AI in everything, and we just need to take it as a step by step. I mean, if you ask the AI now to generate a photo of anything, you may have a person with six finger in a hand or like a wrong. So still the accuracy is not there, and still some development needed, but we need to take it step by step.
I actually very much agree about that because a personal experience is back in India when I was shadowing doctors. This 2024 compared to 2021 and 2022. 2021, 2022, we had radiologists actually typing in the report and making the changes on the report. But last year, when I was working with them again, it was all AI. The reports were already like made up on the computer, and they just looked over it once to check if it was
Yeah.
right or if it was wrong. So just in like a span of 2 to 3 years, I definitely saw that field evolve a lot, which was very fascinating. But again, um, I never looked at it. Every time I talk about AI, I'm like, I don't want AI in medicine. But I never looked at it from this perspective that people are going to be using AI regardless. So if we're always talking about how we want to make that impact and how we want to do better for the patients, but we kind of forget that if they're going to be doing it and getting wrong information, we're kind of harming them. So I never looked at it from that perspective, and that kind of like changed my view and my stance. Do we need AI in medicine now?
Yeah, no,
No.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like when I was shadowing, it was the same thing over here as well. That like, you're using a scribe now, an AI scribe to make your reports, right? And I found that really interesting. I mean, the future is looking very interesting with AI coming into healthcare. And seeing as how you're saying that, like, we've moved from two readers to one reader with an AI, maybe the future isn't that far off,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, that is interesting as well. So, um,
This
now, yeah. Now, Dr. Vagdi, I have an interesting question for you regarding your take on the healthcare industry as it is right now. If you had to perform a diagnosis on the healthcare industry as a doctor and then develop a treatment plan as an MBA, what would be the biggest issue that you'd identify and how would you strategically treat it?
My I thought about I'm thinking always of as you know that as I'm an MD and also I have the MBA and also I have the gene and genomic program with Stanford. What really amazed me of like how we are developing cure now, not treatment. We are in the gene and cell therapy. There are now moving into a different paradigm of pharma, which is not treatment, it's a cure. But always there is a problem of reimbursement, and this is one of the things that market access, and this is one of the problems that we are seeing in the reimbursement system. I don't know how is it in Canada, but also in US, it's also dilemma. So if you have like a solution for gene therapy for a patient with hemophilia, that costs 1 million, but it's also a cure. It is actually flipping patient from being sick into completely normal. And this is something same like the AI. It's growing, and we don't know where it will land, but it's fascinating as well. So there is a lot of cell and gene therapy is happening right now. But then when it comes to market, how we will reimburse this, where is the insurance will be covering this, and the cost of these modalities and the treatments are going to be exponentially, because the R&D and the money that's spent to develop such a solution is not cheap, and the companies need to look at the revenue of having at least these solutions. So there is a big discussions, and I think also there is a tendency from agencies like FDA and other health authority is to have a different look at the gene therapy and cell therapy compare in the reimbursement versus the normal treatment. So I think this is a big issue in the coming years. It's going to be with, if you look at the pipeline for genetic and gene therapy and the molecular therapy and the cell therapy, the pipeline is full of compounds and full of solutions and full of the innovation in curing patients. So who will be able to be afford this, and how can the market access or the reimbursement system will reimburse this? And this is one of the major issues that always in my mind, how will be look like the future doesn't look like we have a clear answer yet for this. I don't know if this is a problem. This is a diagnosis, but I don't yet have the treatment. So I can,
No, I get it. It like genetics. Kiwi and I took a genetics course last semester, and we kind of really got interested in how genetics works and how it's evolved from before. We have another interview with our professor who taught genetics. we kind of learn how much it's evolving, and it might even be more rapid than AI because of how accurate it is.
Yeah,
Like you said, it could cure a person completely. So
yeah.
I 100% agree. But again, the future is interesting. For our final question, Dr. Wagdi, we'd like to ask you for any wise words you may have for the audience watching this interview today. What advice would you give to medical students and early career professionals who are looking to follow a similar path to yours?
I would tell you two advices. One advice is don't shy away from trying new things. Like I used to be in Egypt, and then I moved to Dubai, and then I moved to Moscow, and then I worked in Europe, and then I moved to US. So when you are young, try new things. Don't shy away. Don't say, oh, this will not. You are very your commitments will be less. When you're growing older, your commitments will be more and your flexibility will be less. So when you are just fresh exploring the world, less commitments, you have the flexibility. So try. I mean, there is nothing will go wrong. Like have this confidence that you can do something you like and you live passionate about. Don't turn into someone who wakes up in the morning, beats himself out of the bed, and going to work to pay the bills. I don't think this is the life. I mean, I'm telling this to my kids, to my sons. So be passionate and also try. This is one important advice. Second advice is keep learning. Learning never stops. I did my MBA while I was the head of medical affairs Middle East, and everybody asked me why you need an MBA. You are already leading a big team, and you have direct reports, and you have your leadership, and you already like in a good position. You don't need it. And then I wanted, because this is what I have answered the first question on, but and for me to grow and invest in myself. Then I did my cell and gene therapy education because I'm passionate about it. So again, people would say, "Why you need it? You're already in this position." And so, don't stop learning. Whenever you are like something, do it, learn it, and it will address an opportunity in your career you will never thought about it. So when the opportunities will come to your life, you need to be ready. And being continuously learning, you will be ready when the opportunity comes to you to follow your passion. But it will be very hard and very tough when the opportunity comes to you in your life and you're passionate about it, but you're not yet qualified for this opportunity. Then it's really not a good situation you want to be. So that's these are my two advices. So explore, try, and keep learning.
Oh, I love that advice, especially the piece about allowing yourself to explore. Because as I said earlier, like it's, I know a lot of people who are very clear cut about their goals from the start, right? And then there's somebody like me who is always interested in something new. And then while that seems like, a very broad way of seeing things, when you see people around you who are very focused, it makes like, for somebody like me, I would think that, I'm lacking in some way because, you know, something new is interesting me like every day, but this kind of, allows me to feel that maybe it's okay. It's okay to be, you know,
Yeah,
into
it's
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally fine. And look, there is no problem for people to have their mind made for on something, but also you don't know what you don't know. I mean, I like the Forrest Gump movie quote of like, "Mom said, life like a box of chocolate. You don't know what's coming next."
Yeah.
So it's like you have a plan, but you don't know where you're gonna land. You may be study medicine all of your life and you'll be a very good person in AI with in medicine. That could be a career. That could be something you're passionate about and still something you have background to. So just doesn't mean that you have a plan that this plan is written on a stone. No, it could be changed anytime. So just give yourself the flexibility to try anything else.
I like that idea because I've always thought that having one plan is just how I want to live my life. It's like when I was in A levels, I knew exactly like this is what I want to do and I'm not going to move from it. And then life happened, plans changed, and I was devastated. I was like, this is not how I planned my life to be.
Yeah.
At age of 18, I was devastated that this is not how I wanted my life to be. And then I think as I'm growing, I haven't grown that much, but as I'm growing, I'm learning that it's okay to move and
Yes.
explore new things. So, yeah.
No, perfect.
Okay, now we're moving on to something a bit more fun, the rapid fire round. So these are a few quick questions, and we want to hear your honest gut reactions. Are you ready, Dr. Bugby?
Yes, please. Should.
Okay. One book that changed your perspective on leadership.
One book that I like. I always like the leverage on strength a book, and this is also changed my vision on managing people. And I always feel that you need to leverage on the strengths of your team. And I think this book is right here, but anyway, I can get you the writer later on. But this is one of the books that changed my mindset in leading people and how make people actually uh, leveraging on their strengths rather than pushing them out of their comfort zone. And because simply if you are trying to develop someone in something that they are good at, they will be exponentially developed. But if you try to push someone to do something that they are not passionate about and not good at, the progress you're going to get is very small. So it's better to leverage on the people's strengths.
Okay, next question, MD or MBA, which one was harder?
Oh, MD. MD. Okay, I'm sorry. This is clear for me. This MD is a long journey, and you know, you in the medical school, you have rounds with patients, with the professors. MBA still there is a room of flexibility more than the MD.
A skill every medical professional should learn outside of medicine.
Communication. So I mean, like a lot of big percentage in our lives related to communication. If you are a good doctor, you need to communicate with patients in a doctor patient relationship, which is very good. In business, you need to communicate well, to know to read the room, to communicate your thoughts, your ideas in a proper way. And this is a skill that people need to develop all the time.
If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
uh, what would it be? I I don't have like a clear. I mean, maybe playing more sport. I was always business focus and medical focus and training my brain a lot. But maybe I need to train the when you I mean you're still too young, but when you grow up, you feel like, oh, I missed to build this. I focused on the brain rather than the whole bodies, and the sport is something I would have said I should have created the routine of being in sport. I That's something that I would have cared about.
I wish I learned from that. Uh,
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna start implementing that.
AI in healthcare, exciting or overhyped?
It's currently overhyped, but future is maybe will be exciting.
And then finally, what is the most rewarding part of your job?
What is most?
The most rewarding part of your job.
Uh, the most rewarding part of my job is when you see the impact on a medical center or a community, and they would say that that actually helped our patient and helped us to make the diagnosis more accurate. We helped us to see more patients in a tight timeline or saved money for the patients. That's things that I feel like when I get that feedback, I feel like at least we deliver the clear value for the our patients, and that's what we are working towards. That's what makes me excited on what when I'm doing something.
And thank you so much for that. With
No,
that,
thank,
wrap up the rapid fire round. Thank you so much, Dr. Wagdi, for sharing your
no,
incredible insights with us today. We've
thank
learned
you.
so much about the intersection of medicine, business, and innovation from you today.
Thank you,
Abs-
Manson. Thank you, Kiri.
And your journey is truly inspiring. And I think we've had a very inspiring conversation today. And we're sure our viewers will take away some valuable lessons from this conversation.
And thank you so much for joining us on MedlysisTalks. For the viewers, don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more such inspiring conversations with the leaders of today and tomorrow in healthcare.